Long distances and electric cars. They haven't been the best of friends until now.
That really surprises me. I honestly wouldn't have expected that. What? Jadder hungrig? I didn't understand that. Not sure that's even correct. Range anxiety. What even is that? Maybe this question will come up in a few years, or at least that's the goal. Then the topic of limited range would finally no longer be an argument against electric cars. And this car could be part of the solution. The VW ID.7 offers around 700 kilometers of range. That's more than many combustion engine cars. Especially this Tourer version, with its ample space, is the perfect road trip companion. And that's exactly our plan today. We'll take a little journey through Sweden and test how the range holds up in real life.
Our starting point is near Stockholm Airport. The boot of the electric estate holds 605 litres with seats up. Plenty of space for luggage and equipment. On our trip through the Kingdom of Sweden, on the Scandinavian peninsula, we'll test not just the range, but also the driving characteristics and comfort of the ID.7. We also want to discover a bit more about Swedish culture and nature.
We started with a battery that wasn't completely full. It showed 97% and a remaining range of 619 kilometers. Calculated up to 100%, that's roughly 640. So, not quite the promised 690 kilometers, about 50 less. But as we all know, theory and practice are two different things. The cause could be different reasons. For example, the previous driver's style, or consumers like aircon, seat massage, etc. Let's see how things develop on our journey.
The ID.7 Tourer is Volkswagen's first fully electric estate and one of the first electric load carriers in the upper mid-range segment. It delivers 286 horsepower and, with the 86 kilowatt-hour battery, up to 690 kilometers of range. The sedan even up to 709 kilometers.
It's more of a relaxed, comfortable companion. Everything's soft. Steering, suspension. But right now, we're in comfort mode. Perfect for long distances, no question. But personally, I prefer things a bit firmer. So, let's try sport mode. Ah, yes. That's noticeably firmer. Better feedback, less rolling. VW clearly worked on making the difference between comfort and sport more distinct. That's definitely the case. It's all tighter now. I personally prefer it, but it's a matter of taste. The car accelerates well. Corners can be fun too. Even though this isn't the sporty GTX version, the 286 horsepower don't need to hide. Of course, we won't stay in sport mode all the time. No need to strain the battery unnecessarily, just in corners for a short while. The ID.7 comes standard with this augmented reality head-up display. The driver display is reduced because the focus should stay on the road. Honestly, I quite like it. The essential info like speed and battery level is still visible, and the rest is projected ahead. Very clearly, no reflections. Everything you need right in front of you, so you don't have to look away from the road. That's really good.
The exterior aims to look avant-garde, blending estate and shooting brake, long roofline, coupe-style rear. The ID.7 appears understated and harmonious. Standard are 19-inch wheels, 20 or even 21 inches optional. Dimensions are the same as the sedan, nearly 5 meters long and 1.86 wide. The altered rear alone provides the extra luggage space. 605 liters with 5 people aboard, 1,714 with seats folded down. The sedan offers about 130 liters less. The cargo floor is nearly 2 meters long. For comparison, the current Passat variant offers 1,920 liters, over 200 more than the ID.7 Tourer. Inside, it's minimalist and tidy. Almost everything is controlled via the 15-inch central touchscreen. Seats can optionally come with cooling or massage. A highlight, the huge panoramic roof with smart glass, changing from transparent to dark via liquid crystals.
Let's take a look at what our range is saying. Because we've now driven 100 kilometers. We still have 81% left in the battery, with 502 kilometers of remaining range. We started with 619 kilometers, and it's lost a bit more than 100. However, if you now scale those 81% back up to 100, we're right back at around 620 kilometers of total range. So yes, it's a little more than expected, but overall, if you also look at the consumption, it's showing us 14 kilowatt hours. That's at the lower end of the range it's rated for. That's a good sign, and yeah, we're actually on a good track. But you also have to say, the conditions here in Sweden are quite EV-friendly. You can't really drive fast anyway. We've mostly been going 70, 80, maybe 90 kilometers per hour at most. I've mostly been driving in comfort mode, only briefly in sport mode, and we were only briefly on the highway. The temperatures are mild, around 20 to 22 degrees Celsius. That's basically the battery's comfort zone, so the conditions are very good, and we'll see how things continue. There's also a kind of wellness app here, for longer trips, maybe when you're feeling a bit tired. It gives you 3 different modes: Fresh Up, Calm Down, and Power Brake. Let's try this Fresh Up mode. It says, feeling low? A refresh is on the way. Aha, okay. Now it's turning all the lighting elements blue. The display changes, and there's some music playing that's apparently meant to be refreshing. There's also a cool breeze blowing towards me, which I actually find quite pleasant. It kind of wakes me up. And I'm getting a massage. Right, this runs for 10 minutes, and then it stops on its own. But of course, I can also stop it manually. We can try out the calm down mode as well. Let's see what happens there. An island of calm and traffic. Okay, everything turns orange, including the ambient lighting. The massage starts again. But well, those esoteric sounds, not really my thing. But hey, it's definitely entertaining.
Ist auf jeden Fall unterhaltsam.
We'll save the power brake mode for later when we take a proper break.
Wenn wir Pause machen.
Many VW models now feature ChatGPT integration,
Integration mittlerweile an Bord. Das ist
a kind of AI assistant.
Da kann man quasi
Instead of fixed commands, you can speak normally
jetzt fixe Befehle, kann man ganz normal irgendwas sagen
and get info on weather, sites,
Wetter,
etc.
Sehenswürdigkeiten, was auch immer geliefert. Und das können wir jetzt mal
Let's try it out
ausprobieren,
because
weil
it's time for
langsam
lunch.
Wird's Zeit für Mittag.
Hello, Ida. How do you say I'm hungry in Swedish?
According to ChatGPT, jag är hungrig is Swedish for I'm hungry.
What? Jag är hungrig? Didn't catch that? Not sure it's really correct.
Ich bin auch nicht sicher, ob das wirklich korrekt ist.
Jag är hungrig is actually correct. We head to a rustic farm restaurant about an hour north of Stockholm. It also has a farm shop and micro bakery. We meet co-owner Clara for a little tour.
And I run the restaurant for 5 years now, and it's my family's farm, so I grew up here. So I've been living here all my life, and this was just like storage. So it was just standing like an old barn here, and then we transform it to a restaurant.
Besides an outdoor kitchen for summer, they serve guests upstairs year-round.
We grew like almost all the vegetables on this farm, and then we work with a nearby farmer who gives us all the meat. So we work a lot with the local farmer. We want to do as local as we can.
In the small farm shop next door, you can buy various homemade delicacies.
So we have two types of marmalade. The one of them is with orange and vanilla. It's actually really good on sourdough bread and some like strong cheese. And then we have like some with blueberries and lemon. So it's the blueberries is just in the forest behind.
Okay, great. So what are typical Swedish ingredients like the blueberry?
Yeah, blueberries is and also lingonberry. Okay. The forest is full of them now, but we have to wait a few weeks because they're not ready yet. But blueberries and I think we love potatoes in Sweden, and we love sauce to everything and butter. We are very free in the menu. We change the menu weekly, and we only serve what's in the season for now. And we love a lot of flavors. We want it to be high intensity, and I think that's maybe the thing we do best. That I think that it tastes a lot, and we also like a lot of textures, and we like it to be fun when you eat. But we follow the season. So now it's time for chanterelles and so on. Like today we serve cucumber because we have a whole bunch of cucumbers in the outside. So I think we eat it's quite rustic food.
We won't miss out on this. A typical starter of pickled cucumbers, mustard seeds, wild garlic, chanterelles, and fresh bread. Refreshed, we continue our journey. The Tourer offers plenty of space for Swedish souvenirs. SUVs remain more popular than estates, so there are few rivals in this class. BMW offers the i5 Touring. As the eDrive 40, it has 340 horsepower, an 81 kilowatt-hour battery, and 600 kilometers of range. Price from €72,000. The boot is a bit smaller than that of the ID.7 Tourer. Audi has the A6 Avant e-tron. The performance version offers up to 720 kilometers of range, a 100 kilowatt-hour battery, and 367 horsepower. The base model has 285 horsepower, 83 kilowatt-hours, and just 600 kilometers of range. But the performance model costs 77,000 euros, 15,000 more than the VW, with less boot space. There are some compact class options like the MG5. It's almost 40 centimeters shorter with just 400 kilometers of range and costs around 37,000 euros. Opel offers the Astra Sports Tourer Electric. Its Stellantis sibling is the Peugeot E308SW. Both have 156 horsepower and 400 kilometers of range. The Opel at 40,000 euro costs about 3,000 less than the Peugeot. Apart from Audi, none offers similar range. Over 700 kilometers typically exists only in the luxury class, like Mercedes EQS or Lucid Air. But theory and practice are different. How's our range holding up?
Next check. 64% remains in the battery. 422 kilometers range left. So after 205 kilometers, we've lost under 200 kilometers of range. Trend improving. That really surprises me. I honestly wouldn't have expected that. Calculated up to 100%, that's nearly 660 kilometers of overall range. Wow, that's really good. Consumption is also down to 13.8 kilowatt hours, less than the 14 claimed. Not bad.
Sweden boasts the most islands worldwide, over 260,000. Though few are inhabited, ferries are key transport, most free of charge. Range aside, infrastructure and long charging times remain EV issues, though improving. Sweden leads in e-mobility, 35% EV new registrations in 2024. In Germany, there were only 13%. Southern Sweden is especially well equipped with charging points. We don't need to stop for charging this time, but the ID.7 can charge up with up to 200 kilowatts. 10 to 80% takes about 26 minutes, says VW. Time for a break. We test that wellness app again. Not everyone's taste, those esoteric sounds, but you can also use other music. We prefer coffee and cake before hitting the road again.
Something else I find quite interesting is this intelligent climate control system. Unlike in the past, where you had levers to adjust the airflow manually, you now have to control it through the display. You can direct the airflow either straight at yourself or more around you. And the vents are adjusted digitally. Of course, you can also turn it off completely if you want to. We didn't run it completely empty. We didn't quite have enough time for that. But we covered over 320 kilometers and still have 44% left in the battery, with 292 kilometers of remaining range. If you scale that up to 100%, then we're looking at over 660 kilometers of range. That's not quite the promised 690 kilometers, but I still think it's a very good result. An electric car with over 660 kilometers of range. That's really impressive. You can definitely work with that. Energy consumption is at 13.8 kilowatt hours, which is also slightly below the stated 14 kilowatt hours. And considering we started with a calculated range of about 640 kilometers, this actually developed quite positively. I honestly didn't expect that. We had a fantastic time in Sweden. The landscape and food are wonderful, and the VW performed brilliantly on our trip. If you need an EV with plenty of space, the ID.7 Tourer is worth a look, especially given the limited alternatives in this price and range class at the moment. And maybe we've taken a step towards range anxiety disappearing from our vocabulary.